The Galactic Council erupted into chaos as the lone human ambassador strode into the Grand Chamber. Paul Thompson's footsteps echoed through the stunned silence, his presence an impossibility that challenged centuries of assumptions. He represented a species thought long extinct, a ghost from a past the Council had written off as a lost cause. When Earth fell centuries ago, ravaged by a cataclysm that shattered its cities and decimated its population, the Galactic Council had deemed humanity a tragedy beyond saving. They withdrew, severing all ties and consigning the once promising species to the annals of history. But as Thompson stood before them, the truth became inescapable. Humanity had not only survived, but thrived in the face of unimaginable adversity. Councillor Xyloth, the Yateran delegate who had convened the emergency session, struggled to maintain order as the chamber devolved into a maelstrom of shouted questions and accusations. Some denounced Thompson as an imposter, a delusional survivor clinging to a false narrative. Others demanded proof, unwilling to accept such a monumental upheaval of their long-held beliefs. Thompson obliged, presenting irrefutable evidence of Earth's resurgence. Video feeds displayed gleaming cities risen from the ashes, advanced technologies that rivaled those of the Council's most esteemed members, and a human population that had not only endured but flourished. The revelation sent shockwaves through the assembled delegates, fracturing alliances and igniting heated debates. As the Council grappled with the implications of humanity's survival, Thompson found an unexpected ally in Sagan, a young Yateran diplomat fascinated by the tenacity and adaptability of the human spirit. Together they navigated the treacherous political landscape, seeking to forge a path forward for Earth and its people. But even as they worked to build bridges, forces within the Council conspired to undermine their efforts, viewing humanity's resurgence as a threat to the delicate balance of power. As the Council chamber devolved into a cacophony of heated arguments and accusations, Thompson and Sagan slipped away unnoticed, their minds racing with the implications of the stolen terraforming plans. They navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the Yateran government complex, their footsteps echoing against the polished stone floors. Sagan led the way, her knowledge of the building's layout guiding them through a maze of restricted areas and security checkpoints. "We need to get these plans back to Earth," Thompson whispered urgently as they paused in a dimly lit alcove. "If we can reverse engineer this technology, it could change everything." Sagan nodded, her eyes scanning the corridor ahead for any signs of pursuit. "I'll create a diversion," she said, her voice low and determined. "You take the plans and get to your ship. I'll meet you there as soon as I can." Thompson hesitated, reluctant to leave her behind, but the steely tenacity in Sagan's eyes left no room for argument. He gripped the data drive containing the stolen plans tightly in his hand and gave her a curt nod. "Be careful." With a final glance over his shoulder, Thompson sprinted down the corridor, his heart pounding in his chest as he raced towards the hangar bay where his ship awaited. Behind him, the sound of shouting and the pounding of heavy boots signaled the arrival of Zaxxon's forces. On Earth, Dr. Elias Novak hunched over his workbench, his eyes narrowed in concentration as he studied the glowing fragments of ancient technology spread out before him. The remnants of the cataclysm that had nearly destroyed Earth centuries ago held secrets that could unlock the truth behind the planet's near destruction. A sudden commotion outside his lab jolted Novak from his thoughts. He looked up just as a team of heavily armed soldiers burst through the doors, their weapons trained on him. "Dr. Novak," the leader barked, his voice muffled behind a sleek black helmet. "You're coming with us." Novak raised his hands slowly, his mind racing as he tried to make sense of the situation. "What's this about?" he demanded, his voice steady despite the fear churning in his gut. The soldier ignored his question, motioning for his team to secure the lab. As they began to confiscate Novak's research, a deafening explosion rocked the building, sending shockwaves rippling through the air. Novak stumbled, bracing himself against the workbench as the soldiers around him scrambled to assess the damage. Through the smoke and debris, he caught a glimpse of a figure emerging from the shadows, a sleek rifle held at the ready. "Dr. Novak," the figure called out, his voice distorted by the helmet's audio filters. "Come with me if you want to live." Novak hesitated for a split second before making his decision. He snatched up a handful of the ancient technology fragments and raced towards the figure, ducking low as gunfire erupted behind him. As they fled the lab, Novak's mind raced with questions. Who were these soldiers, and what did they want with his research? What secrets did the ancient technology hold, and how were they connected to the sabotage and chaos erupting across Earth? He glanced at the figure running beside him, taking in the sleek black armor and the confident way he moved. "Who are you?" Novak asked, his breath coming in short gasps as they raced through the winding corridors. The figure glanced over his shoulder, his helmet obscuring his features. "A friend," he replied cryptically, "and right now, the only chance you have of surviving this mess." Novak nodded, his grip tightening on the ancient artifacts in his hand. Whatever secrets they held, he knew they were the key to unraveling the mystery behind Earth's past and securing its future. And with the help of this mysterious ally, he was determined to uncover the truth, despite the toll. Novak's lungs burned as he sprinted alongside his mysterious rescuer, the stolen artifacts clutched tightly to his chest. They rounded a corner, emerging onto a rooftop helipad where a sleek, unmarked aircraft waited. "Get in!" the figure commanded, gesturing toward the open hatch. As they lifted off, Novak's communicator buzzed. He fumbled with the device, his eyes widening as he recognized the caller, Paul Thompson. "Dr. Novak," Thompson's voice crackled through the speaker, urgency evident in his tone. "We've made a breakthrough. The data from Thrax. It's changed everything." Novak leaned forward, his heart racing. "What did you find?" "The cataclysm wasn't natural," Thompson replied, his words coming fast. "It was an attack. An ancient race called the progenitors. They're behind it all." The revelation hit Novak like a physical blow. He glanced at the artifacts in his lap, his heart pounding with the implications. "My God," he whispered, "that explains the energy signatures in these fragments. But why? Why target Earth?" "A weapons test," Thompson explained grimly. "They wanted to wipe us out and take the planet for themselves." The aircraft banked sharply, descending toward a hidden facility nestled in the mountains. As they touched down, Novak's mysterious savior removed his helmet, revealing a face Novak recognized from classified briefings. "Agent Caldwell," Novak breathed, "you're with Earth Intelligence." Caldwell nodded curtly. "We need to get you to a secure location. Thompson's team is waiting." Inside the facility, a flurry of activity greeted them. Screens displayed data streams and tactical maps, while analysts pored over reports. Thompson's face appeared on the main view screen, his expression grave. "Sagan's presenting the evidence to the Council now," he reported. "But we've got bigger problems. The progenitor's weapon, it's not just a threat to Earth. It could destabilize the entire galaxy." Novak spread the artifacts on a nearby table, activating a holographic scanner. "These fragments," he mused, "they're not just debris. They're components of some kind of shielding technology." Caldwell leaned in, his eyes narrowing. "Can we reverse engineer it? Use it to protect ourselves?" Before Novak could answer, alarms blared throughout the facility. A technician called out, panic in her voice. "Multiple bogies incoming. Energy signatures match Zaxxon's ships." Thompson's image flickered as interference crackled across the screen. "They're after the artifacts," he warned. "Novak, you need to—" The transmission cut off abruptly as the first explosions rocked the mountain. Novak clutched the artifacts, his mind racing. The key to humanity's survival, to the entire galaxy's future, lay in his hands. As Caldwell barked orders and personnel scrambled to defensive positions, Novak knew the real battle was just beginning. In the council chambers light years away, Sagan stood before the assembled delegates, her voice steady as she unveiled the truth that would shatter centuries of deception. And in the shadows, unseen, Counselor Zephyr of the Voidborn watched, knowing that the time had come to reveal secrets long held in the depths of space. The mountain facility trembled under the assault of Zaxxon's forces, but Dr. Novak's mind raced with possibilities. He studied the ancient artifacts, their energy signatures pulsing with untapped potential. "These aren't just shields," he muttered, eyes widening. They're the key to something far greater. Caldwell barked orders as the facility's defenses strained. We need to evacuate, now! Novak shook his head. No, we stand our ground. He activated the facility's communication array, broadcasting on all frequencies. Thompson, if you can hear me, we've cracked it. The terraforming tech, it's adaptable. We can use it. Across light years in the council chambers, Sagan's impassioned speech faltered as her communicator buzzed. She excused herself, slipping away from the heated debate. Thompson, she whispered. It's time, his voice crackled through the static. Earth stands alone no longer. Within hours, a daring plan took shape. As Zaxxon's forces closed in on the mountain facility, Novak and his team worked feverishly, repurposing the stolen terraforming devices into a planetary defense grid. Sagan rallied support among moderate council factions, her voice carrying conviction. Earth's sovereignty is non-negotiable. We must forge a new path together. But in the shadows, Zaxxon seethed. His rogue army grew, bolstered by progenitor sympathizers and those who feared change. The Yadaran capital erupted in chaos as Zaxxon struck. Plasma fire lit up the night sky, his forces overwhelming the unprepared defenders. Sagan ducked and weaved through panicked crowds, her heart pounding as she transmitted a desperate message to Thompson. Earth is our last hope, she panted, diving into a waiting shuttle. Zaxxon has seized control. He's coming for you next. On Earth, Thompson stood before a hastily assembled war council. Humans and Voidborn alike gathered, united by a common threat. We have one shot at this, Thompson declared, his voice steady. A strike team to infiltrate the Yadaran command center, cut off the head of the snake. As they prepared, a figure emerged from the shadows. Thrax, the Kralek assassin. His eyes gleamed with ancient knowledge. You need me, he hissed. I know their secrets. The progenitor stronghold. I can lead you there. Thompson hesitated, weighing the risks, but time was running out. You're in, he nodded. But one wrong move. The strike team assembled, a motley crew of human special forces and Voidborn warriors. They boarded sleek, stealthy ships, their course set for Yadera. As they approached, the planet's defenses lit up, a web of energy signatures marking Zaxxon's fortifications. The team dropped into low orbit, their ships cloaked against detection. Thompson turned to Sagan, her face grim on the interface. We're going in. Be ready. The command center loomed before them, a fortress of gleaming metal and pulsing energy fields. Thompson led the charge, his team moving with practiced precision. Alarms blared as they breached the outer defenses. The corridors became a battleground, filled with the crackle of energy weapons and the shouts of combatants. Thompson and Sagan fought their way to the heart of the complex, where Zaxxon waited. The usurper's eyes blazed with fanatical fervor. You're too late, he snarled. The progenitor's vision will be realized. A massive view screen flickered to life, revealing a weapon of terrifying power. A planet killer, its sights locked on Earth. Thompson's mind raced, searching for a solution. In that moment, he made a choice that would alter the course of galactic history. I have something you want, he said, his voice steady. The location of the progenitor's stronghold. Zaxxon's eyes widened, greed warring with suspicion. Impossible. It's true, Thompson pressed. Let Earth be, and it's yours. For a heartbeat, the fate of humanity hung in the balance. Then Zaxxon nodded, his forces already mobilizing for a new conquest. As the tyrant's ships vanished into hyperspace, Thompson turned to Sagan, his expression grim. We've bought time, but at what cost? The command center hummed with activity, allies and former enemies working side by side to disarm the doomsday weapon. But Thompson knew the real battle was just beginning. In the depths of unexplored space, an ancient power stirred, awakening to a galaxy forever changed. Thompson's eyes darted across the command center's screens, tracking the retreat of Zaxxon's forces. The plan had worked, but the cost burdened immensely on his conscience. He turned to Sagan, her face etched with concern. We've bought time, he said, his voice low. But at what price? Sagan nodded grimly. The real battle lies ahead. We need to prepare. In the days that followed, the alliance between humans and Voidborn solidified. Engineers worked tirelessly to dismantle the planet killer, while tacticians pored over star charts, searching for clues to the progenitor stronghold's location. Thrax emerged from the shadows, his reptilian eyes gleaming with ancient knowledge. "I can lead you there," he hissed, mandibles clicking. "But my freedom is non-negotiable." Thompson hesitated, weighing the risks. The Krylek assassin had proven his worth, but trust was a luxury they couldn't afford. After a tense debate with his advisors, Thompson made his decision. "You'll guide us," he said, fixing Thrax with a determined eyes. "But one wrong move, and you'll wish you'd stayed in that cell." As preparations for the journey intensified, rifts began to form within the alliance. Human military leaders clashed with Voidborn diplomats over strategy and resources. Thompson and Sagan found themselves mediating disputes, their own doubts gnawing at the edges of their perseverance. "Are we doing the right thing?" Sagan asked one night, her voice barely above a whisper. "What if we're walking into a trap?" Thompson had no answer, only the cold certainty that they had no choice. The day of departure arrived with a mix of anticipation and dread. The assembled fleet was a patchwork of human and Voidborn vessels, united by necessity rather than trust. As they prepared to jump to hyperspace, Thompson addressed the crew one last time. "We face an enemy unlike any we've encountered," he said, his words echoing through the comm channels. "But together, we have a chance." The journey through uncharted space was fraught with peril. Navigational systems faltered in the face of strange anomalies, while tension among the crew threatened to boil over at any moment. Thrax remained aloof, offering cryptic warnings that did little to ease the growing sense of unease. Finally, after weeks of travel, they emerged from hyperspace to confront a sight that left even the most hardened veterans speechless. The progenitor stronghold loomed before them, a massive fortress world that dwarfed anything in known space. Energy shields shimmered across its surface, while weapon emplacements bristled from every angle. And there, already engaged in a fierce battle with the stronghold's defenses, was Zaxxon's fleet. "By the void," Sagan breathed, her eyes wide. "How did they beat us here?" Before Thompson could respond, alarms blared across the bridge. The stronghold's automated defenses had detected their presence, and a swarm of sleek, alien fighters erupted from concealed hangars. "All ships, battle stations!" Thompson barked, his training kicking in. "Thrax, now's the time to prove your worth. Get us inside those defenses." As the Alliance fleet scrambled to meet the oncoming assault, Thrax guided them through a series of precise maneuvers. They threaded the needle between energy barrages and debris fields, inching closer to the fortress world's surface. "There," Thrax pointed, indicating a barely visible seam in the planet's armor. "A maintenance access point. It's our only chance." Thompson gave the order, and a strike team prepared for insertion. As they boarded the dropships, he caught Sagan's eye. Words weren't necessary. They both knew the stakes. The dropships plunged through the gap in the defenses, buffeted by turbulence and incoming fire. As they touched down on the stronghold's surface, Thompson's comlink crackled to life. "Sir," a panicked voice reported, "we've lost contact with the fleet. We're on our own." Thompson squared his shoulders, checking his weapon. "Then we'd better make this count. Move out." The strike team advanced into the bowels of the fortress, guided by Thrax's knowledge and Thompson's instincts. But with each step, the gnawing feeling in Thompson's gut grew stronger. Something wasn't right. They rounded a corner, and Thompson's fears were realized. A contingent of Zaxxon's elite guard waited, weapons trained on them. And there, at the center of it all, stood Thrax, his mandibles spread in what passed for a Krylek smile. "I warned you not to trust him," Sagan hissed, her own weapon raised. As Zaxxon's forces closed in, Thompson's mind raced. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and trapped in the heart of enemy territory. But as long as they drew breath, the fight wasn't over. "We're not done yet," he growled, his finger tightening on the trigger.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, And for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.